Welcome to the Fantasy Drink. I'm Jared Quartermanch, and today I'm going to be talking about books to be read. So I'm going to go through that. But first, we have Drink of the Night. It is Smuggler's Notch, maple flavored, a distillery out of Vermont that makes bourbon. And so I'm enjoying that so far. Nice little hint of maple in there. I like maple. You might have seen that in my last video. Um, So, on to the books. My first read that I'm going through right now, about 200 pages in, is Jenny Wirt's Curse of the Mist Wraith. That is the first book in the War of Light and Shadow series by her. Started back in the 90s, and I think finishing up kind of recently. I'm really enjoying this book. I really like the characters so far. I like the circumstances they're in. And we've learned. I like what I've learned about this fantasy world so far. I like her descriptions of magic. I think they're really interesting, and they have a poetic feel to them. Like they really feel nice. Like her description of a magic sword in here really made you like, oh wow, this sword's special to hold, and it's really cool, to look at and what have you. And so her book was recommended by a couple of booktubers on there. I think quite a few people like this series. I saw her interview on Dr. Fantasy, so that was a real treat, I thought. And so I wanted to definitely get into this series and start into it. It's like right up my alley. So the next book I'm reading, The Severing Sun by Von Roycroft. Yes, this is the book one of a new author, I believe, in the Sunded Nation trilogy. I also saw an interview with Von Roycroft on Dr. Fantasy as well, and I really liked what he had to say there. And I thought this was a book that I would really like to check out. So I'm about 140 pages into this one, and really enjoying it so far. I like the pacing, and I like the action in there. It's really keeps things moving very quickly, and it reads like historical fiction because it's kind of set on a world that's very Earth-like. He uses the same Norse gods that was that's Earth, Wotan and Freya and Loki and what have you, and it's very mundane so far. There is a little prophecy stuff going on here. Don't know if that's you know uh brought forth by magic, or if it's just wishful thinking on part of the characters. We'll see, because this, like I said, I'm only 150 pages in, and so far it's kind of a mundane story, which is great because it's a change up from the other stuff I'm reading. So it's really cool in that manner. Um, and if it stays that way, that's perfectly fine too. I like it. It's really well done. Congratulations, Vaughn, on getting this series going, and I look forward to reading more. The third book I'm reading right now is Steven Erickson's The Bone Hunters. This is a reread of the Malazan series. Doing a reread because once I finished the last of Erickson's books a while ago, the second book in the series of his latest series, and it was The Fall of Light, I was like, I couldn't wait for another book to come out. So I was like, I got to go back and read these. So I did, and I got through the first five, and then I was like, you know what? I'll read Esselmont in the middle as well, because Esselmont is a co-creator of the Malazan world, and he has a whole bunch of novels that I've read previously as well. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to read these in more closer to the publication order. So I read the first five of these, the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and then I read Night of Knives by Esselmont, and now I'm reading The Bone Hunters. Next, I'm going to read Return of the Crimson Guard. And I got to say, I'm enjoying that as well, because it's just a little hints that they all place about their world in each other's books and stuff like that, and how they tie together. It's just amazing. It's my favorite series ever, and Erickson's probably my favorite um, writer ever at this point. That can always change, but so far it's Erickson. Um, Anyways, Bone Hunters, awesome. You probably, if you're watching this, you've probably seen a bunch of other booktube stuff about Erickson and Malazan, and it's recommended for a reason. It's great, great stuff. So for all three of these books, I hope to do a reaction video to them, and I want to where I can get further into the books themselves. But that's what I'm reading right now. To be read is Stephen Donaldson's The Killing God. That's book 3 in his current trilogy, the Great God's War. And Donaldson is another one of my favorite authors, so I'm looking forward to that. That's in my to be read pile, which is a pile of one, because I don't like to make that pile too big, because sometimes I like to surprise myself on what I'm going to be reading and what's upcoming. Maybe go to a library and check out something I previously didn't know about, something new. And so I do that sometimes, and I try to keep my to be read pile pretty low so that I can surprise myself with a recommendation or with a library book. So once again, Stephen Donaldson's The Killing God, book 3 in his current trilogy, The Great God's War, to be read. So that's it for today. Just wanted to do a quick video on what I'm reading right now, and let me know if anybody else is doing the same. All right, thanks, and good night.